Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, those in between and unaffiliated. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And we're celebrating this day by talking about vampires and lichens again. Caleb, are you excited to talk about it on this fruitfulest day?
Yeah, it's a great day to do it. I don't think there's a single black person in this movie, so maybe we should have picked a different one.
What are you talking about? Michael Ealy's in this.
Is he? Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay, I apologize, Michael Ealy. I'd forgotten. Our Fast and the Furious alum. I'd forgotten that he was a part of this one.
I know I was asking for him to return at some point. It may not have happened in the Fast and Furious, but at least it's happening on a another movie instead,
Yeah, that's true. I was happy to see him. I was like, oh hey, there's our barbershop and Fast and Furious pal. And yeah,
amongst other stuff.
yeah, Underworld Awakening, the one that I just had decided I had no interest in when it came out. I don't even really remember the trailers for it. But I do remember it was coming out, and I had a vague feeling of like, oh, should I see that one? And I was like, but that third one really put me off, and so I skipped it and never looked back. Did you have any pull for this one? Do you remember this coming out or anything like that?
So good that you asked. I believe. Oh man, like I think 2012. So this is like what was this? Late 2012, if I recall, or mid 2012. I don't fully remember. Um, but I definitely remember it had been. I think I had seen. Hey, forgive me here when I say this. I think I had seen like some trailers for maybe the Resident Evil Afterlife, which was obviously the film prior to this and its other film that comes out after that. I think it's Retribution. Yes, but so what I mean is that I remember around the 2012. So it was like I think late 2012. I'm starting college, and I believe I see some trailers for both Underworld Awakening and Resident Evil Retribution. So I'm like, geez, are these like the same movie? This is where I like it's where it first goes into my head of just like, oh, these are, sister series. Like these are in the same universe, which I'd like to believe they are, but they're definitely not.
Oh, and spoilers for when we get to Resident Evil Afterlife. This is the first one where I started to be like, oh wow, the similarities to Resident Evil now feel very, especially with that movie in particular. These two feel like they could have been produced by like parallel teams working in a similar mindset. Now, I don't know when the hell I'll get to Resident Evil Afterlife. I don't know if that's going to be several years down the line at this point. But yeah, when we get to that one, I'll be curious if you'll recognize some of the traits that I'm talking about.
We'll see. We will definitely see when we encounter that. But for now, let's start this off. We'll obviously do our best. I'm going to try to do my best today to give context, provide details, and where we are within this commentary. Hopefully, I'm going to actually try that, and hopefully also while at the same point giving an intellectually stimulating conversation. I hope so too. But anyway, let's
Yeah.
get the copies that we all have in front of us to timestamp zero. And Caleb, please invite us to start.
Yeah, well, I'll hit play on the word play, and we're gonna go three, two, one, play. I'm seeing nothing.
Subtitles optional. There you go.
Now I'm seeing the Screen Gems logo, our old pals, Screen Gems.
I'm also seeing screen gems. A good game to play is if you're watching these in sequential order. Um, a good thing is to see how many other production companies are part of it, and then compare notes or whatever to how many were at the start of the film series.
Yeah, by the way, I was hoping this one I think is a new logo, Sketch Films. I was planning to watch the second one in prep for this, but I just ran out of time today. But it was nice opening this up with a little recap. So I was like, okay, at least they're filling me in for some of the details I may have forgotten. I wish it wasn't so jarringly edited, though.
Yes, that's true, and it would have been. Yeah, it is nice that they involved this or included, excuse me, this little like flashback sequence, which makes sense. It at this point it had been quite a while actually since the last one. Was it 2006?
Yeah, yeah. If we're not including the prequel,
Right, that's right, 2009. I'm sorry, I forgot.
yeah. But since the last time we saw Selene and her story, yeah, it was that long.
Well, I mean, last time we saw Selene was, well, in a different kind of form.
That's true. Yeah, Endless War. Yeah, I guess filled in that gap a little bit. And yeah, we'll get into it, but it definitely feels like this is a reboot at this point.
Oh, okay.
It's not just a continuation. It's they're doing some doing a refresh on the franchise a little bit.
S- Still moving forward, but yeah, there is definitely a change in the status quo.
Yeah, a shift. Like they're being like, okay, we're wiping the slate clean. We had that kind of little duology, maybe a trilogy if you throw in the prequel as kind of the start of it. But yeah, this one we're scrapping some of the old dynamics and yeah, yeah. I guess we'll discuss as it goes along.
Oh, of course.
But it was nice to see that we get the continuation of those little shorts with seeing the status quo, and they're finally explaining to us what the hell that third short was about with the humans discovering the vamps and the lichens.
I wonder if they could have just played that, maybe not 17 minutes, but of it, but they could have played like the third part as like, part of the trailers in the theaters just to like give a catch up of what's happening.
Yeah, I wish they would play more. I don't know why they only play those little shorts in front of kids' movies. Like I know Illumination does it these days, Pixar does it, but yeah, it could be cool. I remember that, and we covered it. Maybe we'll do it again in this Redux series with uh, shit. What was that little short film called in front of the Empire Strikes Back?
Oh, the Black something. The Black Knight? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, wow, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I forgot the name of it. Yeah.
It's his name's escaped me. But no, you know what I remember a short film from though. If you may not remember this, but I think around like 2017 or 2018 when they were this Ghibli Fest was still kind of like starting off. They still had shorts. I don't know if you remember that at all, but I remember there
Yeah.
being like some
Yeah.
short, like they had some animated shorts, and there was one about a roller coaster. I don't know if you were present for that one or if you knew about that one. Maybe I don't know if you were there or not, but yeah, I remember that one. So shorts did exist, but of course we're talking, I can't say independent or foreign films, but definitely in a smaller screen setting, or I guess indie circuits setting.
Yeah, and still animation in that sphere.
That's true.
Oh, now we're into the movie proper. Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, we are, yeah, sorry. So what we had just seen there was a bunch of goons. This time, looking similar to the DCAU stock SWAT unit models, but this time I think they are a little bit different. But we just saw that Selene was throwing one of her throwing stars that exploded in all their faces, and yeah, she's up for blood this time. The status quo right now is that, I guess if those are not up to speed, we have uh, I don't know if this is Paris or wherever this is, generic European country potentially, because it was Paris in that short. But it turns out the humans have discovered both the lichens and the vampires, and now they're basically like, as she stated, they're uniting together to basically rid them of off the earth.
Yeah, The Purge. I get the sense that maybe this is like maybe like a year in. I think they do give it time, but it's still early days of them trying to eradicate these two groups. And I think that this movie still has a similar, I should say, aesthetic and stylized quality, but there's just something about it that doesn't look as like it almost has more of like an artificial tint to it this time around in some way. I'm not sure how to describe it.
No, I agree. There's a look that the first three, maybe first two, not throwing the third one under the bus being a prequel now, but like we're talking with modern day stuff. Um, there was see the first two, at least from my recollection, they had a look to them as we said, and it wasn't full on like the new metal look as I call it, or what the Matrix was going for, what Blade had, but it definitely was kind of, let's say, reaped in like early 2000 stuff, but it still separated itself from being dated, I'd say. I kind of, oh, by the way, sourced by Circuit City, that's kind of a funny shout out there. But it was, yeah, it had a look to it, and it definitely felt unique to its own. And that's what I like about it. But here, it's I don't want to say full on gothic, but this here doesn't have that same look. At least I think it doesn't
No.
have the same look.
Yeah, and this one it was directed by two Swedish directors, and there is a bit of a more like foreign quality to it to me. Oh, by the way, all of the CGI, because I guess Scott Speedman did not return. Lead singer of Creed, the actor, didn't come back, so they just put CGI face on a stunt man. Oh boy, was it jarring.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't notice that in the credits. Whoops. I thought he did. Oh, yeah. Okay. Looking at him now, it's like as he drowns, it's like, okay, whoops, never mind. Other context. Basically, I guess lead singer Creed and Selene, they're again trying to flee the city, and they're
Yeah.
trying to get away by boat, and it doesn't work out because the cops or military presence were there instead, and they escaped underwater. And now there's a sound grenade about to blast them away. Like, yes, use depth charges. That's smart instead of using bullets. And they get him. So that's there. But yeah, I did not realize that it was one. I didn't realize it was two Swedish directors, excuse me, that directed this. But Len Wiseman was still technically a part of this production, though. I don't know in how big of a capacity, but at least it credits him in the credits.
Yeah. Yeah, producer and writer. I like this transition, by the way. I thought that was kind of cool. I almost felt like it was gonna like lead into like a Bond opening, opening number.
Except we already had the opening. Although this is technically, would you call this a cold opening?
Yeah, no, there was definitely cold opening elements going on there.
Whatever his there. Yeah, I know what you mean there. Also, the reason you like it is because one, water; two, it forms to ice; and three,
Yeah.
what is this prototype? We're getting like either flashbacks or flash forwards or something else here. What's happening here?
Oh, I was 100% thinking video game stuff all through this. There's quite a bit of this where I was like, is this set up for the new Underworld game coming out in 2013 that we never got?
Turns out, by the way, I think there was a uh, Underworld video game.
Oh,
I haven't watched yet, but the on the channel Matt McMuscles, I think he talks about that, or maybe it's something else. But I thought there may have been because I had said in one of the previous commentaries, like, oh, I really kind of wish that this had a video game to it. That would be really cool, and you could do something either in the past or in between films or something like that, or before the film, just to get a sense of how Selene is and how she would handle and what the video game developers would do with this franchise. But we never got that.
yeah, but here's some direct Underworld ties right here. We saw them setting up stuff in the previous ones, and very quickly they're kind of wiping the slate clean, and we're like, okay, we're moving on to a different story. We're opening up in kind of an underground science lab with a nude lead character, but they're doing all that they can, even though it's R-rated, to cover up any sort of nudity that they can manage. Very Underworld, or very Resident Evil, I should say.
Very Resident Evil indeed. When she like fell out of the cryo tube, I was very shocked at how when she felt like they positioned the camera perfectly to not like show any like form of female nudity. I gotta say I was impressed, and I guess there's also the CGI mist, so never mind.
Oh, yes, the CGI missed. Oof, boy, it looked bad. Yeah, this one's got some wonky CGI. The first one that really stood out to me of some wonky stuff. Oh, by the way, do you recognize that guy there? This the scientist bad guy.
I recognize him, but I also recognize the female scientist. I'm like, is she one of the actors from one of the Resident Evil films?
I was thinking that too. I didn't look it up. I think she may have been in Resident Evil um,
Two, I think.
Apocalypse. Yeah, whatever the second one was. I think she was a reporter in that. I didn't look it up though.
Evolution.
Sorry, Resident Evil. Sorry, Resident Evil. Apocalypse. I may have said Underworld Apocalypse.
Oh,
But
was it? No, 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 yeah. It's. I thought it was Evolution, but I guess yeah, it was Apocalypse. Whatever the second Resident Evil movie was. Sorry, it's been a while. No, the main bad guy, though, the main scientist man. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I know his face. I can't picture like where I've seen him from, but I have seen him somewhere.
yeah, he's kind of the maybe third lead in V for Vendetta. He's the one who's kind of investigating and discovers.
I remember him now. Yes, thank you for no. As soon as you put like that, like, geez. As soon
Yeah.
as you put a face to him and told me who it was, I'm like, I remember exactly who that was. Quick scene. So Celine, Found all her clothes. I'm surprised by that. And literally, it's her exact clothes, and she just escaped from the little medical lab and is taking names. Before we didn't really see her take many human lives, if not like other like obviously Michael got involved, but like or lead singer Creed got involved, but like no, it's yeah, it's just weird. Like this time she's actually like taking out like these guys like indiscriminately. I'm very surprised by that.
Oh yeah, and brutally. Like she does not give any fucks with these humans. I mean, I guess the humans at this point are part of the war too. But yeah, this one feels like it has a harder edge with the violence.
Now, anyway, my question to you for the um, lead scientist man is was he ever in Who?
I I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure that he hasn't been. I've only seen him in that V for Vendetta. Oh, this is so weird, by the way. Wes Bentley right there being in this. Oscar winner Wes Bentley, who's uncredited and only is in it for a few moments. I was like, why the hell is he even in this?
And this is the same year as or was it this year? Yeah, I think this is the start of him in the, or was he? I don't watch it, but was he in? Oh, sorry, I'm slipping. Killing or Hunger Games. That's what it is. Wasn't he in Hunger Games?
Yep, yeah, he was. Yeah, this was kind of the year that he made his career turnaround because he was an Oscar darling early in his career and then got really full of himself and kind of ruined his reputation by just being too difficult of an actor. And so I think maybe this was before he got that Hunger Games role and was just kind of like, okay, I'll just do that job. Just give me some cash, please. I'm in a rough state in my career. That's just my theorizing. I really don't know. But
No, that's fair, and I don't know what is. They used a different model. I know that, but man, I always think of Wes Bentley as the model for Alan Wake.
oh yeah, okay, okay, I could totally see that. Yeah,
I don't think he is. I think it's a different. It's a Swedish guy, if I recall. I mean, he's definitely like in like full motion videos and like I think animated as well in like Alan Wake 2. But do not tell me that Wes Bentley and I think it's Ilya. I forget his last name, but do not tell or for first name. Sorry, do not tell me that both of them are not the same looking, or at least have similar facial features. Sorry. Anyway, we have what the hey. No, so here we have like the John Connor John Connor, Kyle Reese
yeah,
sequence where Selene just escaped off a truck and she sucked the blood of a human, which she hadn't done in a while. I don't know if she would have gotten any information from his blood, but yeah, she's making her way out. She's getting out of there. So she quickly robbed a department store and I guess returns to the scene of the escape attempt. Although I'm surprised that they kept her in the exact same location for however long it's been.
yeah. Same city. I guess this city was maybe where they discovered the issues, or actually, maybe it makes sense because whatever Lycan group. I mean, this is a little bit of speaking ahead, some spoilers. Maybe this is just where the main Lycan group is, and yeah, they're using her for certain reasons. So
Probably, or whoever the powers that be are using her for these nefarious means.
yeah, why they had her locked up for 12 years. Which again, wiping the slate clean, since we just find out that yeah, but now we have a big time jump too, another way to yeah, kind of wipe away some of the other characters that we were dealing with. Although I guess they're all immortals, so they could have stuck around.
Yeah, this meant nothing at all. She didn't age. Nobody like Michael, if he's alive or not. Lead singer Creed wouldn't have aged either. As actually, I wonder if he wouldn't. That's weird. Oh, by the way, I guess that at least either he's dead or he's not. Like the I guess she's using her. Or where is she? I guess the prequel, Bloodless War, not Bloodless War, whatever it was called, Endless War.
Endless Sword, yeah.
Maybe it really was hinting a little too much as you dissected from our discussion, or yeah, discussion.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought that they were the way that she said her final lines. As long as we're together forever, or as long as we're together, we'll live forever. And it just sounded ominous the way she said it. So yeah, maybe that was a little bit too heavy foreshadowing.
Yes, no, quite a setup there for something that happens later. Now, actually, incidentally, when we first see this victim here, I thought for certain that it was, what is it? I thought it was my, lead singer Creed. I was like, oh, it's him, but it was not.
Yeah, and have we mentioned at all about Celine seeing these visions yet? Have we brought that up?
You just did.
Yeah.
She's having these visions, like either it's memory because remember, like she's the ability to read the memories from blood.
Hmm.
But this was before she sucked that guy's blood. So she's having these, yeah, flash forwards or just like visions in her head of like scenes that she's seeing. It's like, oh, okay, what is like, and either it's present time or it's in the past. We don't exactly know yet.
Yeah, but whatever it was, she saw the visions, and that's what woke her up from her little cryo pod. That's what gave her the chance to escape was something peeking into her mind, and or her peeking out of its mind. I'm not exactly sure. Some of the lines with how this part of this plot works, I was a little bit fuzzy on when the credits rolled. Maybe you have some better explanations. Oh, by the way, this guy here, I did not realize he was in this. He was in the Divergent series. I don't know the actor, like I don't know his name.
Theo James. I know him also from what was he in? I think he's a voice in Castlevania.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
The animated series, excuse me. I gotta make sure. I don't know if he's ever in the video games, but as far as I'm aware, he was in the animated series. I don't remember. I think he was. Was he Alucard? Yeah, I believe he was Alucard.
Yeah, and I feel a bit bad for this guy because my own personal bias is because of the Divergent series. I was kind of like, oh, this series overall feels like it's lesser like quality, and they're bringing these kind of generic actors. So I kind of lumped him in as a generic actor. And so seeing him here, I was like, oh, now we're getting into a more generic period of the Underworld stuff too. We're bringing in these kind of lower tier actors. But maybe that's unfair to him. I don't know.
That's yeah. No, I hope he has his Pattinson moment where he breaks away from, a young adult movie because maybe he does plays. I don't know fully too much. I remember I saw an interview with him on what was it on Stephen Colbert. That's what it was, and he has a degree in philosophy, from what I call, which nowadays is looked down upon. Look, both that and psychology are frowned upon when it comes to getting degrees in, or creative arts or some sort of like that. But anyways, so he seems like a gentleman. I think he was in. Oh, I don't want to know. I think he was in a movie called The Boy Next Door. I don't know. It was an awful movie. I didn't like it,
Oh
but
no.
yeah, it wasn't great.
Oh, oh, I just looked him up to see if he's still working these days, and I forgot that he was actually really, really good in the second season of The White Lotus, a series that I really like.
Ah, there you go. So at least okay. So we've had success there. So hopefully he has had his Pattinson moment.
Yeah, and he was definitely going full out there. I think he had a number of fairly explicit nude scenes in that one as well. Now I'm thinking about
Oh, I see. And Pattinson moment does not mean that he has to become a superhero. No, that's not true.
it.
Like what Pattinson the Batman is what I would not call a superhero.
Hey, maybe this is his Pattinson moment. He is playing a vampire after all.
Well, yeah, I guess in that sense, yes. Spoilers, also.
So with Michael Ealy and his little detective guy, I guess they're going to be a secondary part of the plot, investigating. And yeah, here we get Wes Bentley's death scene. Again, so strange to see someone that I, when I was younger, was like, oh, this guy, he's going to be like a new Leonardo DiCaprio. He's going to be someone great. And then just to slowly watch his career descend. And then if I'd seen this would have been like, okay, close the book on Wes Bentley. Like, what the hell is he even doing in this movie?
Well, I mean, I can't. I say enjoy. It was nice seeing him in Tenet. Or no, sorry, Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, he's turned it around big time. He's back to yeah prestige stuff,
That's good. So
and good for him.
good for him. And for yeah, oh yeah, he was limited in the in Interstellar, if I recall.
Yeah, yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, and she just like killed him in cold blood. Yeah, she just basically Celine basically just dropped him on a car.
And by the way, when he landed and you could hear him screaming all the way down, there was something about that too that I was like, ooh, that has like a sharper, more brutal edge than I feel like we've really seen. But I guess that third one had some brutal moments too.
Yeah, but this definitely feels. While there's a bit of sanitization here, I don't believe there is. Well, it's a mix because there's still
Mix, yeah.
it's it's kind of sanitary with like where they're filming, but there's still an edge to it. But that like gothic, like gothic, I guess, grit that the first two had, is kind of missing, and I definitely miss that, especially with all the rain.
Yeah,
Funny, where they're filming.
I don't know if it's like maybe this was shot on digital and it just has this kind of almost too clean or too crisp of an image. But yeah, something about it just has like this cold, but not in a good way, quality to it. Like you said, maybe sanitize is a good word.
Yeah, muted. It's not as muted as say like a later MCU film or some Zack Snyder stuff. There's still
Yeah.
color to this, but because I can still see the colors on Theo James here, but no, it's I know what you mean where there's not lack of color, you're right, but just if they've gone in a different direction with I guess the cinematographer.
Yeah, and this artificial kind of look that I'm complaining about here definitely comes up also in Resident Evil Afterlife. They don't look the same, but in a way that they share similarities. Again, not to foreshadow that review too much, but
Oh, turns out Theo James is a vampire. So he followed Selene from like a rooftop to down a trash chute or wherever it is, and found some lichens, and now is running away. And he pulled out this giant knife, this big knife.
yeah.
It's a big and practical knife, I tell you what. And they're now just communicating or talking with each other. I guess this is the first film. I say first film, but it's definitely a new decade. So you can only have the aughts last so long because I definitely know that the visuals we get even starting in 2010 I think are a big change from the aughts.
Yeah.
Again, around that like 2007 to 2009 mark, they change again. I'm thinking like heavily Michael Bay. That's just my thought process. They were going with that, but then the 2010s kind of usher it, like literally 2010 I think ushered in like a new age for like digital effects and or just how we film certain film, like I guess maybe like blockbusters or maybe mid to higher budget films, like triple budget films. And I'm thinking like maybe Tron Legacy was probably one of the things that started it.
Yeah, and that was around the time when a lot of them switched to using digital film. So I think that maybe affects some of the way that it, because nowadays you can film something digitally, but have ways to kind of add more of a texture that make it feel more film-like. I just don't think they had that around this time. And again, I don't know if this was shot digitally, but it has a very digital look, I think.
We can check in the credits. Although, as far as I'm aware, I don't recall there being anything noted as being digital, or sorry, and filmed in like Kodak or whatever, like shot on film.
And here's the introduction to this little girl character, who's gonna, yeah, Celine was seeing these visions and like, oh, Michael must be right around the corner. I'll follow what he's seeing. And then instead comes across this young child here. And by the way, things are moving fast at this point.
It definitely is. There's a point where when I had to pause it for not now, don't worry. When I was initially watching, I paused it and I looked at the time and the timestamp. I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, oh my word. But anyway, oh, this is a funny piece of continuity, by the way. So I'm not gonna say where they are, but just note where they are now. In that, like, we're gonna see some steps. There's some steps on the left that we see on
Yep,
the
I
left side
see
of the
him.
screen. Just keep that in mind. Just put a pin in that for a second. So they're in a chase scene right now. And by the way, I could not think of the I guess young child. She looked like Amelia Clark. That was who I was thinking of, but I no, it's not.
Oh yeah, I guess just for some more context. So apparently the lichens have not done too well in the past 12 years. And so they're just like living underground. I don't even know if they are like going back to being humans much. But they're also attracted to this young girl because they can sense that maybe she'll be their savior, just like they originally thought with Michael, Corvin or Corvus.
Yeah, yeah, Corvin, I believe. No, it was no different than the first one, if I recall, where um, oh shoot, was Michael? Oh, what's that? I can't, there's so many Michaels in this.
Lucian?
Lucian, thank you. I believe yeah, Lucian and his squad were also kind of just like trapped and stuck in the underworld as well. So they've always been trapped underground.
Yeah, and at this point in the movie, I was like, oh no, has the Lycans just become just monsters to fight? Or are we not going to get real characters for them anymore? And so I was worried that this was going to be like a regression. Because let's not forget the vampires were the bad guys in those first three. The first trilogy was vampires are assholes.
I'm bringing it up again in this. I'll be definitely bringing this up later on.
Sure.
And it turns out that yeah, no, she is yeah, Selene is experiencing these visions literally from this like girl.
Oh no, that looks horrible.
Like whereas before okay, so you see right now on the left side
Oh
again of
my
the
goodness.
screen.
Yeah.
Yep. That's this they literally just went in a circle. And everything like
Yeah,
moved backwards. Obviously,
that's
like in
funny.
continuity, they just went past a bunch of stairs, but I don't know exactly where those stairs are, but I definitely know like oh I've seen those stairs again.
Yeah, I kept thinking, was this shot in BC? Something about it makes it feel like it was shot in BC.
Oh dude, like
I'm not 100% sure, but
no, it was filmed here. Like it was
okay.
like
Okay.
the whole like medical research lab and whatnot, like InGen, is all in SFU, like all in SFU Burnaby Mountain.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a number of sets and just locations. I was like, I'm pretty sure they shot some of this here.
It's all
And I remember that we. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, yeah, it was all shot here according to the credits.
Damn, damn. So they, because I think that second one at least was still shot in Europe, and I'm pretty sure the first one was too. So maybe that's some of the stuff they were feeling too with this sort of artificial quality, because it doesn't really feel like a European city.
Filmed here instead, it's artificial.
Just if it's supposed to be some vague European city, at least shoot somewhere vaguely in Europe.
Well, the only European design we would technically have similar to is SFU Mountain, or sorry, the SFU campus on Burnaby Mountain, which is based off of brutalist design architecture, which I do like, but um, in real life, it's actually home to a lot of suicides of students during the winter months,
Oh
and
no.
literally because of the architecture. So that's why they introduced Reading Week.
Oh no, that reminds me of that famous Gremlins quote when Phoebe Cates says that, oh, on Christmas, some people are opening up their presents and others are opening up their wrists. That line always stuck out to me as a kid. I was always like, oh, like what? What'd she just say?
Is that the first or second Gremlins?
The first one.
Okay. Oh, sheesh, Dante. Okay, well, he's not wrong. It's like, wow, we could not get away with that anymore.
Yeah, no, it's in a movie marketed towards kids. Yeah. Oh, but this scene, yeah, this scene was the big revelation scene when we discover that, yeah, this young girl with a British accent who looks vaguely like she could be Celine's daughter. Turns out that she is the daughter. And I can't remember if at the end of the second one if she was supposed to be pregnant or if this is something that the scientist did. Uh, any recollection?
Well, I mean, if you remember, there was a scene set aside. I don't know if they were like think like saving this for later, but if you remember, there was that very sensual scene between lead singer Creed and Celine
Yeah.
in that barn, and I think I may have mentioned like, oh man, like I don't know if they were thinking of abstinence at all, but like I don't know if vampires are at all. Oh, how do I put this? I don't know if vampires at all. If they can procreate at all, like if they're becoming
Yeah.
fertile, which is a cool idea. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Turns out that's not the case. That this is in fact her daughter, and I was more going with clone. I was my first response was
Mm.
clone.
Oh god, I would have been screaming Resident Evil at that point if it was a clone.
Send in the clones.
Yeah, and in the early ones I kind of complained about. I never really cared for the choice of how they made the hybrid look with Michael. Her in particular, I mean, I laughed the first time I saw it. I was like, "Oh no, why would they go with that design choice?" And so yeah, I got some issues with how they make this hybrid.
Anyway, so we lead we David, I guess Theo James's character, according to the subtitles. He takes them back, these two back to the base of operations, which if you'll recall is the same base of operations. Was it Star Chaser or Stargazer? That's what it was. Project Stargazer was in the Predator. Literally, it's the exact same dam that's up near Whistler.
Oh man, I don't remember that. Oh dear.
No, you shouldn't. I only just know it because of the iconography.
Yeah, and when we get down to this coven here, Theo James's group, the more generic quality comes across. Even Charles Dance, an actor that I think is quite good in a lot of stuff, as the stand-in for Bill Nighy in this. Yeah, he just doesn't have that same gravitas, and something about the way his teeth look just looks like he's more wearing cosplay.
And he also has that lisp because of again nothing on him, but like yeah, because he is wearing the teeth. So I'll give him that; it's authentic. By the way, it said in the subtitles that they were speaking Russian, so I guess this is in Russia somewhere.
Uh, well, I don't know what Russia looks like, but hey, maybe it looks like BC. Who knows?
It's in Sochi. I'm just going with that. It's about the same latitude, I believe, or longitude, whichever one I forget. Um, darn it, I forgot where. So this, yeah, definitely this part, not this part, obviously, like we have I forget the girl's name, but we have the supposed daughter of Selene. She's trying to get healed, like it's like what's wrong, like she can't be healed or whatever. We're having the nurse, I guess, look at her. um this just seeing this coven, reduced to seeing them reduced to numbers, it was like, oh yeah, these are the bad guys.
Yeah.
And the movie is, I guess, trying to make us sympathize with them, or maybe we're still on Celine's side. I'm not too sure. What do you think about that?
Oh, it feels like they're trying to say, okay, we've done our trilogy of let's support the underdogs, the Lycans. We climaxed with seeing their kind of beginnings of their rebellion, but status quo changes now that the vampires are our heroes, and they've been reduced from this great culture, and so we want to see them get back on top and once again put those damn dogs in their spot, bring them to heel. Those stupid Lycans. So yeah, definitely a different kind of modus operandi here.
I mean, it's usually how.
Those eyes look kind of cool. Sorry.
Yes. It's usually how comic book creators, American comic book creators, go about with their, with the change in guard of bringing in a new team for an already established character.
Yeah, and speaking of comic book creators, I did see that J. Michael Straczynski was involved with the writing of this one, which I was surprised to see.
Oh, was he? I guess I didn't notice that. Oops.
Yeah, and I just don't know how I feel about it. I mean, we saw those vampires are scumbags, and sure they're in a rough spot right now, but the Lycans, at least at this point, seem like they're in a worse spot. And we're barely given any lip service for, oh, look how sad it is that they've been reduced to this. They've almost been completely eradicated. It's like, oh man, what would poor Lucian think now?
Most certainly. Um, I will not, state this is random, but I will not. I don't really have a foot in the fight or whatever reason in the fight, but yeah, I do not blame J. Michael Straczynski for One Day More. Don't worry, I understand. Random reference. That's the Spider-Man comic where he makes a deal with Mephisto.
Oh, is one more day or one day more?
Yeah, one more. Did I say one more day more? Yeah, one more day. Sorry, one day more. Dang it,
Yeah, okay, okay, yeah, I know which one you mean.
darn it, like Miserable. And this scene is where Selene basically gets the realization, even though we already talked over it, that yeah, Michael and her, like the girl on the gurney or on the table, is in fact her daughter, and or she's also having guilt over losing Michael.
Yeah, yeah, she's been so caught up in a chase ever since she fled that facility. Now having this moment to herself, she can kind of finally process what's been going on until Theo James comes in and interrupts it. And I mean, I guess he looks like someone who would fit into this world. So I maybe I need to soften to him a little bit more. I don't know if he comes back for the next one, but yeah, I guess we'll see what they do with him if he does.
2016. I don't know when the last Divergent film is, because was that two parts? I don't even remember at this point. Um,
Yeah.
but you know what's not in this film, or not in this film? You know what doesn't look right about him? I think his outfit.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not gothic enough.
Yeah. He's been like shopping at like I don't know, Gap or something, or like what's that place? American Eagle, maybe.
To be fair, I'll give it this. I should be realizing this. To be fair, it is 12 years later. So maybe legitimately the style and the times have changed for the humans. Now, of course, he's not human. I'm just saying, like, to blend in, like, now they have to blend in,
Hmm.
they have to go with, what's in style and in vogue, excuse me.
Yeah, because I was gonna say all the rest of the vampires in this coven look like they're still in the old school way. But yeah, I guess if he's out on the surface, he would want to yeah, blend in more. And it's still the same night, so it's not like he would have had a chance to change. Now this is a cool bit. I really like the set throughout this bit here. All these little stalactites and stalagmites. Even though they look kind of fakey, I still think they look cool. And as their little cold storage.
Definitely a cave that has been there for a while.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool too. Maybe this is like an ancient stronghold that the vampires have just had waiting in case they need it for hundreds of years.
It's funny, this scene right here where she's the girl, the offspring is walking, offspring. She's walking through this cavern. It almost went. I may have mistaken the scene, but I was like, is she walking through this place and it is the old set? It's the old mansion where what's his face? Where Marcus was resting.
Oh, like she was like having like a memory from her mom or something like in a dream.
Maybe almost where I thought like, oh, is this supposed to be like the same set as where Marcus and Victor were?
Well, I'm sorry, I have to point this out. When he takes his hand off her face, Charles Dance, we see he has these black nail polish things going on. There's just something about that took me out too. I was like, is he getting up every day putting on that nail polish? I don't think the other vamps have black nail polish. Maybe it's a stupid detail to focus on. Then I kept looking at Celine's hands.
Well, it's a detail nonetheless.
I kept glancing at her hands for the rest of the movie. Like, has she got that black nail polish? I don't think she does. So,
Nothing much to comment here other than like it's just small talk between a bunch of the cast and the players right now. They're just arguing. I don't want to say arguing semantics. They're just going back and forth of like, hey, I need to leave, or you need to go, you need to stay, or whatnot. We have like there's a bit of a, I don't know if, I guess, character conflict. I don't know, it's not conflict, but there's definitely a disagreement between father and son, where I guess again, Dance's characters, you know of the old ways, of course, and James is a lot more of the times. And
yeah, and this stuff for me felt almost completely flat. Uh, both these actors feel not, even though I think that especially Charles Dance has been, good in other stuff. It's just these two characters just feel kind of like, okay, like they don't necessarily feel as interesting or up to the caliber of what we've seen so far. And the overall conflicts of what's going on, like this war with the humans, I thought it was going to be a more interesting part of the plot. And yeah, it's just kind of like, okay, I don't really care about this new coven that much.
see, I don't want to. I forget which commentary or I forget which property or series it was discussing it, but I'm thinking of what was it now? Oh, right, Thor: The Dark World. That's what it is. Thor: The Dark World, and then Thor: Love and Thunder. Even though I haven't seen that, but just like what you told of me, it's on the script. Maybe the script had more to it, and what we got, wasn't as much as the script was offering. Potentially, I'm just throwing that out there as a wild ball. I'm just like, maybe that's the case. Because I definitely wonder if it is this direction that they're the. I'm not saying I'm blaming the directors necessarily like fully as like they're hacks, but different direction from these directors is probably what you and I don't agree with.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think is the biggest failing of this movie overall is that they I mean, we get a little bit of a slowdown period right here for maybe like 8 minutes where they do their little drama section. But the first three movies, I mean, maybe the second one was a little bit more action oriented, but there was a lot of kind of political stuff going on with the different warring factions and some character stuff building, and they all had enough screen time to kind of play that stuff out. This one, I mean, before the credits, it's only like an hour and 18 minutes. Like, that is so short. How could they really have time to flesh all this stuff out?
Yeah, that's right.
I was shocked when I paused and was like, wow, it wasn't even an hour and 20 minutes long. Crazy.
Yeah, when he told me it was like 88 minutes long, I was like, seriously? And I don't,
And that's
I
with the credits.
that's with the credits. So, subtract at least like 7 minutes from there.
Yeah, 10 even. Kooky.
Here's an interesting scene where they were going with something. I don't know if they succeeded in it, but it's like, so we have David, who is, he wants to stay and fight. He wants to fight, these humans or whoever's attacking the base right now or trying to infiltrate the base. And we have Dance's character who is like, no, flee. Like, not either flee or like get to safety, which is weird hearing a vampire say that.
Yeah, and again, it just feels like, okay, Grandpa, like you've seen everything fall apart. You guys are living in this bunker, reduced to. You guys are in the position that the Lycans were in the first movie, and you're still like, oh, we just need to like wait it out. Like at one point, you're just like, okay, we're either gonna fight or we're just gonna wither away and become what we despised before. And I guess they could have fleshed that argument out more, made it more interesting. But
Yeah, I don't know if there's additional scenes that were filmed that strengthen these guys' character, but I definitely agree where we got in a lot of people's heads, or at least we got a lot of points of view, excuse me, in the previous two films, or even three films, excuse me, where it's again, it's kind of an ensemble cast. Well, maybe the third one really was, even if it was um, Michael. Oh, help me out here. What's his name? Well, it's Lucian, of course, but I forget his actual name. But yeah, I guess Lucian may have been like the main character.
oh yeah, I can't remember his name. Michael Sheen, maybe.
Yes, Michael Sheen. Thank you. That's it. Yeah, thank you. No, it's even though Selene has been like the main protagonist, we still got a lot of the side characters. Got a lot of like at least some let's see screen time, but definitely got like a moment to I guess espouse their beliefs.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the reasons I look at this more in the Resident Evil vein because it just more becomes like an action franchise with horror influences that's more about the action than story or much else. I mean, thankfully, it so far has not become anywhere near as stupid as those Resident Evils are, but it does just feel like it's more just a semi-generic action movie with some horror influences and interesting world, but not much more there, which is too bad. Too bad for this entry.
Yeah, I miss the. Well, I guess that arms character, not arms. Well, that too. But I guess the that fellow vampire from the first film. You remember like Celine's, I guess, second in command or friend there. He's the bald man. I think he was bald.
Yeah,
I guess he's dead. I'm just gonna assume like
yeah,
he's gone because obviously the actor hasn't returned for any other roles, so he probably died. But if I guess vampires did trying to remember again. Pardon me. It's been a while, but I guess the vampires were using guns in the past. Obviously, I remember that they were using guns in the previous films, but I don't know, just not so. I felt like there was a style that they had with them. But actually, it's funny how like Theo James's character, he looks like he's just got the same outfit he has from Divergent.
could see that. And the CGI whip, I mean, the whip's kind of cool, but also reminds you of like, oh yeah, these guys used to treat these Lycans as slaves, and now they're just whipping them. It's like brings back some ugly imagery.
Oh, that's definitely fair, but they really don't give us a plight of how the Lycans what they've been dealing with for the past 12 years, and or just the revelation of being found.
Yeah, at this point they've just monsterfied them, really. And that's definitely a shame.
I thought this was it for him. I literally thought like, oh, that's it. He got bit, and so he dead.
I lost you there. My headphones turned off.
Oh, okay, sorry. Um, is your movie still going?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry about that,
Okay,
everybody.
that's okay. That's okay. No, I swear my internet's going on fine. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know if this was a thing in the lore, but it would be cool if lichen bites don't heal back on or maybe they do, but the marks remain on a vampire.
Yeah, yeah, if it had some greater like influence. Yeah. Oh, by the way, when this thing shows up here, we get this yeah, they took out the lichens, fairly evenly. Most of the vampires look like they're dead here. And then this beastie shows up, the boss man, uh the big boss lichen. And I was like, oh no, even more Resident Evil comparisons. Now we get like the mutated, like giant end boss guy. I was like, oh no, how are they going to explain this?
Yeah, like the giant frogs, the giant crocodile, the giant tarantula, the giant snake, the giant weed.
Yeah, or the future guy when he had all the tentacles. The
The
third one.
future. Speaking of which, I'll just bring that up right now, even though there's probably better scenes to mention that with. So, if we recall back in the second film at the end there with Alexander Corvinus, he dies, and then part of his essence is transferred over to Selene,
Hmm.
if I recall right,
Yeah,
or was it Marcus that she got more? Okay, so it maybe I'm wrong on this, but at least what I thought was that she got a power up. She got a big boost in energy, so she was gonna like really like she was like Neo by the end of the Matrix. Evidently, that's not the case in this. What we just saw and what just witnessed, where she got smacked by this giant lichen and then just got knocked the heck out.
yeah. I don't know if we're forgetting things or if, which could very well be the case. It's been a while, or if they're not explaining it very well. They do say that she like has gotten the ability to be a daywalker thanks to that gift. But I wonder if her ability to be fertile is also has something to do with that gift from him. I don't remember if they mentioned anything about that in the second one.
Now, not so, and of course they were very vague with what this upgrade, power, the future, whatever you want to call it, enhancement and her gift entailed in that second film. So obviously, I'm assuming bringing in assumptions from other medias and other fictions, which is incorrect because it has its own set of rules. But again, I'm just like, I feel like, yeah, she would have been a lot like, yeah, it sounded like she was going to be a little bit more stronger than her normal vampire self.
Yeah, no, I definitely got that impression as well.
And as I guess just to answer your question about the infertility, as far as I'm aware, they had their moment of sensuality before she got a blood transfusion. So, I mean, unless the seeds were lingering in there and they were about to disintegrate, or they had made um, what's the word? They interacted again and reproduced further before this film. Yeah, that ain't happening.
That's what I assumed.
And also that, which then also leads me to the thing of like, wait, so if she's frozen in cryostasis, her cells would stop working. Not like start working, but they just, be like deep freeze, similar to what we saw in the Abyss, which I had no clue about. Um, where you can drown, but your body's still like alive, air quotes, and so you just need to be like resuscitated and have the water like get out of your lungs. Um, how did she get like? How did she go through pregnancy? Because if her cells stopped, they would have to like bring her in and out of pregnancy for 9 months. Again, not that age is a problem.
Yeah, again, they really don't spend any time explaining it. But if she had been pregnant before, they could have extracted the embryo and then grown it outside of the
Oh, test tube, baby. Okay, never mind. Nope.
yeah, test tube.
Never mind. I did not think of that. Whoops. I should have remembered that, even though I've had a fascination with that before. Anyways, so I guess yeah, this is the last time her and Dance interact, and if I recall, Dance lives by the end of this. If I Yeah, that's right. Not I guess it's a spoiler, but even still,
Yeah. Oh god, the CGI there looked just primitive. I was like, did they not finish the effect there and then just run out of time and not be able to go back and touch that up? But so Theo James, he got a nice little, big old lichen beastie bite, and so now she's got to cut open his chest and pump that heart for him, which is kind of cool looking. I thought that they did that uh, effects wise well.
I suppose this is part of her gift, by the way, where because she slit her wrist, or at least opened her wrist, excuse me, or palm, excuse me, and then her blood, I guess, went into David's character, his heart, and it healed him.
Yeah, it was like her blood went into his body, and then she pumped his heart for him to make him come back, which I think they did in one of the other ones. I think maybe that happened in Underworld Evolution. I think. Again, I apologize, folks. It's been a while for us, but
Oh, and by the way, here's a new thing as well: daytime.
and by the way, look at these cop cars with the generic P. Don't even look like they are a real cop car. It's like, oh no.
Again, even that like sign that said Metro Police. I guess this is Russia somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. And Michael Ealy is a cop there. He seems a little out of place with the rest of the cast. I feel like he should have
Yeah, he
some
does.
sort of European accent or something.
Yeah, something like that. Again, I love the guy's eyes. The guy has some wonderful eyes.
Yeah, very captivating. But yeah, no, I was happy to see him. Of course, I was. And as it went along, I was like, okay, I wish he got a little bit more screen time. But then when he starts having his collaboration with Selene, that's when I started to be like, oh, but I don't know if he really fits into this particular movie. Yeah, I don't know. By this point in the movie, I started to be kind of slumping in my seat a little bit, being like, okay, no, this is definitely not giving me the thrills that I was getting from those first three. Because I was always surprised, like, oh wow, I was expecting to come back and find this just to be, silly, kind of campy stuff, but it feels like they're taking it more seriously. This one, they're just kind of skating through.
It was not here, but when she was leaving the dam out of the base of operations, when Celine was leaving that dam, I looked at that's when I just had to briefly stop the movie the first time around, and I saw 38 minutes left. I'm like, are you serious? Like, oh my goodness, what the heck? I cannot believe this.
Yeah, and what's even sadder is actually only 28 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Oh.
So, what's happening here currently is Ely's character Sebastian gave Celine his backstory on how his wife was basically similar to Blade's mother. No, I'm just kidding. It's not like
Yeah.
Blade's mother. But she was a nurse, and she what is it called? She, I think, was it either got infected or something happened
Yeah.
where like lichens and vampires got involved, and so it made him a little bit wary, but I forget why he has sympathies for Celine.
Yeah, no, his wife turned into a vampire, and they were living with it quietly. I guess she was getting blood from the hospital, and everything was going fine. They were just living like regular people until the purge happened, and they showed up at the door just doing like house calls, and then tested her and figured out who she was. But she didn't even let them kill her. She just opened up the door and let the sun in, and that's what killed her.
Oh, okay. Maybe a better way to go. I don't know. Just rather than have them take her. Um,
Yeah, die on her own terms, like a dignity kind of thing.
there you go. She at least had the chance to not be maimed by the system
Yeah, yeah.
or the established order. Excuse me.
So ever since he's been against this government policy against them because he knows that just because they're part of those groups doesn't make them automatically evil.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give Sebastian too much credit there because it's like, I mean, the order that the vampires are, they're a bunch of a-holes, man. Like, I wouldn't sympathize with the vampire order. Maybe Selene, not so much, but even still. Oh, it's a Hydra plot. Oh, golly.
Oh, yeah, they're getting the big dark eyes. Oh dear.
So, this scientist lady who maybe had more to do with the script, I have no idea, finds out the hard way that the Lycan are now in charge. Or at least this section of the government are in charge, I guess, of Lycan.
Yeah, the ones in charge of the whole program of tracking and exterminating these groups is yeah just been overrun by lichen thropes. I don't think that's the right word.
Well, either overthrown or establishes, we don't really know exactly. And again, I guess from Lucian's perspective, this is good news. Either, I don't know, good news, but this is like great.
He probably would because he hated those vampires and wanted to get revenge on them. But well, no, actually, he wanted to create a hybrid race so there wouldn't be any more superiority issues. He wanted them to find that kind of peace in the middle. And what's weird about these two, this dad and this son, they their plot gets introduced so late in the movie. There's no time to develop it really. But I think that they were scientists who, as they were discovering or studying the lichens, just decided to become them because they mentioned like, oh, like your mother, she abandoned us by choosing not to become a lichen like us. We're as powerful as could be, but your mother, she was weak. Again, they really don't give us much here, but so I think that they just yeah like maybe idolized the lichens as they studied them. Oh, here's this little bit about the mom.
Yeah, no, basically as you just said there. Yeah, I remember seeing an image of, I don't even know his name, but the son's name, or the son, excuse me. And I thought he was in what is it? Number 3. I thought that was like who he was part of, where it's like the Lycan are taking over. Turns out I was right. Like it is like the Lycan, at least in this area, taking over. Um, but yeah, of course, like at least in this, of course, it's a contrast between Dance and Theo's characters. I was just like, see, these two get along really well, whereas those two did not get along at all.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess that's a nice little bit of symmetry. But both relationships, I don't feel like they either it's because they don't have the screen time or I don't know what, but they just don't really develop either pairing much.
Whatever unholy magic Lensman, excuse me, and company did with the first two is not present here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was wondering with you too. Like, were you also feeling some of this kind of like, oh no, this does not feel at the same level?
It's getting to Resident Evil, but it's not going full on Resident Evil yet.
No. Oh my god, she looks terrible.
I, unfinished.
And by the way, I'll just say for
Sunlight. Sorry, just sunlight.
oh yeah, definitely a change.
And here's the explanation, by the way, of the gift.
Yeah, which is they just like gloss over it like so much in this movie. It's like, oh man, come on.
Anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I was gonna say by the time we get to the fourth entry in Resident Evil, that franchise devolves so stupidly into just complete nonsense. So no matter how bad Blood Wars gets, I'm sure it's not going to get to the Resident Evil level. But it is a shame to see that this franchise has kind of devolved itself down. And I don't know if it's like a lack of ambition or maybe just the budgets they're getting, the studio just not having faith in it anymore. But yeah, you can definitely feel that they're aiming a lot lower now.
By the way, this is the also the scene where Sebastian tells Selene about his wife. I sorry, I thought that was the scene beforehand, but it was not the case.
Yeah, and they probably said in like 45 seconds.
Oh yeah, no, like just to get everything out quickly. Like, come on, we gotta like move to the next scene.
Yeah.
I guess that's just generic European license plate.
Yeah, but it's an American car. It does. They should have brought in some sort of European car.
Thought they were.
I guess maybe it's supposed to be like, oh, he's an American who wants to bring his heritage with him, so he brought his car.
I suppose so.
Or maybe it was a Volvo. I don't know. I thought it was maybe it was a Volvo.
It looked more like a Buick.
That's what I thought.
Maybe not. Maybe not a full Buick, but I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was a Buick, but it could be a Volvo.
By the way, this is apparently the front steps of SFU. Golly, look how brutal this place looks.
Wow, that's the door there. That's cool.
Maybe not. Maybe fully not. But it's just interesting how she's like walks straight to the elevator, and that's it. It's like,
Yeah,
wow, uh, subverted my expectations again.
and somehow these humans are winning.
What is this Fast Seven all over again? Where I'm just like, oh yeah, James won. He's just like subverting my expectations by playing the scene straight, or not.
I guess to be fair, I'm sure that they would have no expectation that a vampire could be coming during the day, but I guess a lichen could. So you should probably have better security. Oh, but I guess this place is run by lichens. So,
There's that. And I guess we forgot to mention about like what the scientist man and his son. So they've been, yeah, I guess conducting more experiments and continuing the legacy of what Lucien left behind,
hmm.
which is nice. At least somebody is continuing on with the whole genetics program of lichens. Is basically, I guess, refining the serum and or not serum, but refining their, I guess, discoveries to make similar with vampires being immune to sunlight, the lichens will be immune to silver. So that's interesting.
Yeah, they're trying to refine the W virus as much as they can. Which, by the way,
L virus, excuse me.
there you go, L virus. Yeah, another comparison to Resident Evil. They kept throughout the early parts of this movie saying, "Oh, the infected," and talking about people infected with the different strains.
Yes, that's right.
And I always like the scientific angle for Underworld, and so I guess it's kind of an interesting evolution that scientists now are trying to turn themselves into one of these groups and evolve it. But yeah, I just wish they would have had more time to flesh that stuff out more.
I'm not saying it's loosely a what is it? It's not loosely a they live situation where all of a sudden there's like aliens in disguise and everywhere. That's not the case. Like I was wondering, like, oh, is that news anchor woman also a lichen?
By the way, that silver bomb when she's walking through that room, that was a pretty cool image.
It was. I was wondering, or not wondering. I did call it. I was like, first time around, I was like, oh, they're sort of silver bombs, aren't they? And yes, they were. I was like, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Because why else? Like, what else is she gonna use?
Yeah, even the outside looked like it was all silver.
Destroy. Just say kill her. Why not destroy her? I mean, I guess destroy is also just like mutilate, brutalize her instead. So okay, fair enough. But you could just say kill her.
Hey, these are Brits. You know, they gotta class things up a little bit.
Ely's not a Brit.
Her guns, her guns always just look so like useless in their way.
That's the thing where I'm just like, yeah, I don't believe that any of the. Wow, that was quick. They definitely. She just found them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Where unlike John Wick's pistols, and that's a different story. Yeah, this is just like, yeah, those pea shooters don't look like they're making any dents on any of these lichens. Like you're gonna need something a little bit more like heavy firepower. Even the way she like they just jiggle around or whatnot. It's
yeah,
like, I don't know. I don't, and this is again where it's like these three lichen. It's like it's where also very big air vent. But is where I was like, oh man, I can maybe again I just probably brought in a lot of like I'm projecting where I was like, oh, I thought I guess they had different terms and definitions of what she being the future means. Because again, I thought she was like uber strong. Man, these are large air vents. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. And even just her like, she's in the building for like 5 minutes and immediately comes across the daughter. I was like, oh man, this is they are really trying to move this thing as fast as they can.
Mm-hmm. No, usually they'd have to like it's a maze, it's a labyrinth, and no, it turns out it's not. And this scene I felt also goes a little long, like or at least maybe give Ely some other dialogue because she never responds, and I'm just like, huh. I thought she would have responded. I guess not.
Yeah, with his character, I almost wonder if there was stuff that was cut because he serves very little purpose now that he's been teamed up with her. And him just kind of standing outside shooting at the guards. It's like, okay, you're shooting at people who aren't actively involved in this anymore. It's like, I guess he's doing this. I guess he's uh, being the person in the video game that tells you which direction to go.
He's in this case the guy in the chair.
Yeah. And I guess it's nice to have him do this part.
Yeah, definitely nice to know how like he's able to use guns. Yeah, I mean it looks like a Buick.
I think it did say Volvo.
Probably. There you go.
This was a shock for me. Yeah, I did not expect that.
So turns out, yeah, I guess for the oh boy, turns out for this scene, apparently, yeah, Michael's alive. So Injun just had him in a different room the whole time.
I like the way that they did those squibs in the back of the heads. That was pretty cool. Yes, so I was not expecting him to be still alive, and I was like, okay, at least maybe they can get Speedman back for that last one. Maybe, hopefully,
Yeah, fingers.
because I was missing him a little bit here.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, because I think part of the fun too with the first one, and maybe a bit of the second one, was seeing her be so hard and then soften with the romance. I think that was something they did at least well in the second one.
You know,
I can't quite remember well enough though.
I was half expecting her to just like get impaled through the bottom of that elevator shaft, but that was not the case.
She did land right on that like really painful looking little thing. It looked like it could have broken her spine.
Yeah, I guess one of the
I was like, ooh,
bumpers to emergency bumpers to stop the elevator if it does come crashing down like it's about to. I do
oh,
again. I don't even know this guy's name. Okay, what are your bullets going to do? And also, yeah, endless ammunition, much just like in Endless Wars.
hey, this is a callback to the first movie. Remember?
Oh, that's
She's
right.
standing and then she shoots all around, she falls to the
Oh
ground.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And I was like, okay, weird callback. This is getting over the top to silliness town, but okay.
So somehow I didn't really see how the elevator stopped, but it stopped.
Didn't it get smashed around her, or did I miss something?
I don't know. I didn't really. I thought those bumpers or thumpers stopped it. I don't know.
Oh, I thought that she shot the bottom of it so much that when it came down, her and the bumpers just went right through it,
Oh, okay.
and so she was.
Oh, also endless ammunition inside or bottomless magazine inside a revolver.
Yes, I was thinking that too.
And dang, Ely's a crack shot. Getting the driver and then like hitting one of the tires. That's man. He's got dead eye.
Hey, I mean, we see Selene with those two guns that she doesn't look like she can control at all. She keeps landing shots. She shot those three guys standing in a row with those guns that she barely looks like she can control. So you just got to take it.
I mean, he didn't get hit by a car, but he's at least acting realistic and like, I can't get up yet.
Oh, my heel, my hips, oh, my back. Shouldn't have worked landscaping for 10 years, my back.
Don't worry, he's not like Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious, where he's Uberman.
Hey, this guy's Uberman right here. Uber Wolfman.
I got strangely, I was thinking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, and I've never seen that film. Oh, dear.
Not to that extent, of course.
Whoa! Did not realize she was that strong.
Well, that's what I'm just like, there seems to be like a power inconsistency.
Yes, definitely. And again, they could have taken the time to explain some of that, but time for this stuff.
Now, this movie is like a shotgun blast. Like I've been saying for a while for some movies, it's just like it starts and then stop, like just goes.
Yeah. Yeah, they really only take that one little break down in the coven for like maybe 7 minutes or so, and then it's right back to action for the rest of the movie. Whoa!
So right now, Ubermensch son Lycan arrived. I literally don't even know his name. Uh, Memorable villain, I guess. And is
Not at
going
all.
going to town against Selene, and all the players of the piece have arrived. And there's going to be a bit of, how do I put this? All right, that was an interesting scene. Um, there's all the players of the piece have arrived, and yeah, there's a bit of, how would I say this? There's a bit of garbage tossing, Toxic Avenger, and or Swamp Thing tossing, like just like just tossing, like garbage tossing everybody everywhere because they can't just crush them in their like palms or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is a lot of tossing now that I'm looking at this. You're right. Yeah, and I think that was another strength of the Underworld movies was the villains. Like Victor, they used him twice. He was so good. But even Marcus, where he was like only like half a villain, really, he just finally returned with his brother. Like sympathetic for him, and then Bill Nye was just so captivating as that character. And these two, bland giant CGI guy who's barely a character in human form, and then the dad who just doesn't look at all threatening in any way. Just looks like a professor that's decided to do something villainous.
I was gonna say, yeah, okay. Now that apparently he's not a full on Lycan, because I noted his form, like, geez, he doesn't look like a full on, like, it's almost like he's sort of got the lead singer of Creed aspect of it, and I'm just like, okay, because more, yeah, he's more just like guy with a bunch of hair on his back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, and here's David, just shows up out of nowhere. I hope it was nighttime because how else would he have gotten there?
Yeah, how long has this fight been going on for that? Yeah, now he can show up. Maybe he's got underground tunnels. They don't explain it. He's just there.
Given his size, I feel like he could easily go through that concrete.
Yeah, yeah, he could just swipe through it, you'd think. I do kind of like the look of that ugly, like, troll man, the scientist, lichen, kind of lichen.
Where it's an imitation, it's a fake. He tried so hard to look like a lichen or become a lichen that he just didn't become a lichen. And by the way, foreshadowing setup, Chekhov's grenade.
Yeah,
Put a pin in that, or maybe pull the pin out of that at some point.
yeah, this guy's at least like a good piece of horror imagery. The big CGI giant lichen just looks like something that you only find like an action kind of stuff. He couldn't be a real horror movie villain. Same with her. She just, I think, looks too silly to. I mean, maybe some horror movies would try with that, but too silly, I think.
Yeah, look at that. He's just tossing her around. Just like end her, man. Unless again, destroy her just means oh,
Yeah,
mutilate her, make her suffer.
he's as ripped as could be. He could just grab her with one of those arms and then just crush her,
What we are literally seeing
just pop her like a balloon.
is the Hulk versus Black Widow.
Yeah, yeah, imagery wise, looks like that.
Yes and no, because obviously she's got more strength to her than it seems, but which I thought she did, but of course not. And child
Yeah,
prodigy of Selene and lead singer Creed pulled a Mortal Kombat finisher or fatality.
I was gonna say Roadhouse.
That too.
She's been watching Roadhouse over the weekend.
She's getting ready for Jake Gyllenhaal's film. Again, I feel as though the sun could easily just break through this wall, this column. Like, geez.
Yeah, I agree. I did like the ripping out the throat bit though. That was another piece of some good gore, even though it looked like it was CGI. I thought they did it well.
Well, again, I'm confused. I'm just like, it's I like that there's gore in this, but again, there's just seems some. It seems a bit sanitary.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't hit quite right. Yeah.
Again, here he's not like the sun's not gloating. He's not doing anything. He's just standing there as the antagonist.
I think there's only one scene in this when he speaks, and that's the scene when the dad was like giving him his other medication.
Yeah, I literally thought this.
Otherwise, he just stands there.
I thought he was like the big bad. Oh, I heal. Okay,
Oh,
you see,
I
it
forgot
was.
about that line. That's a terrible line, by the way.
Yeah,
I heal instantly.
I thought he said I heal instant, and I was like, what? And then the subtitles say instantly. It's like, okay, that makes more sense.
Who speaks that way though? Why does he say it too?
I'm not too sure.
Is it like some sort of arrogance?
Oh, of course, like high and might, like literally, he's more powerful than she is. Reminds me of that character in David Harbour's Hellboy movie, where it's just like he stays around than more than he should have. But um, reminds me of that. But that character had more screen time in that film than this character did. All right, that's it. Both antagonists have been dealt with, and the mother daughter have been reunited. Potentially the dad, because she shot the punctured the chronic tube. Excuse me. So hopefully we'll be back, and we can live happily ever after. No, not really. We'll be on the run, but now we have mother daughter, and yeah, who the flip race? I guess that scientist did. I guess this is a close. This is Proto X-23, by the way. I just realized this is like Proto Laura when it comes.
Yes, I was thinking about that. Yeah, and crazily, it's only been an hour and 17 minutes, and we're already everything's over. I just can't get over that. It just makes me wonder why that happened. Why couldn't they have just added a little bit more time?
Huh. Wait, so did Sebastian know David?
Uh, oh,
They gave that little like, nod to each other. I was like, wait, do they have his prior history?
yeah, that is interesting. Huh.
Almost like
Oh,
David is, known them for has interacted with him before. But yeah, no, oh boy, what's happened?
yeah, so it's in the aftermath, and they're like, oh, okay, let's go reunite with our family. Let's go get Michael. Oh no, he's escaped. We should put some chains on him. And then the little daughter, the daughter sees through his eyes. Again, this power that I don't understand. Suddenly she can see through his eyes, and oh, he's on the roof. Let's go meet him. Oh no, he's gone. Why doesn't Selene just go? Okay, we'll try to look through his eyes again. You just did it randomly, or is it something that she can't control?
Jeez, the way the Celine gave the look there to her kid, which I don't even know her kid's name. Um, the way Ava, maybe I don't know. Okay, Marlon and Steen. Okay, I thought it was Marlon Steen, but it's not. There's okay, G. Mike. I didn't. I'm blind
Yeah.
apparently. The way that Celine gave the look to her kid, I was like, is that Charlize Theron from Alien Flux? Like, what the hey? That's random. And that's it.
Oh god, that's yeah. Let's check the time. It's not even an hour and 20 minutes yet.
There's 9 minutes left. There's 9 minutes 25 seconds left, at least on my end. Hey, sorry, I've been going through some of the Fast and Furious movies, and for some reason, even though there's a minute difference with extended cut and like the regular cut, it's like I don't know how I was like ahead of you or you were behind me. I'm confused.
Yeah, it did seem like you were maybe like 10 seconds ahead, something like that.
Very weird. Still know what it was.
Yeah, just play your speed, probably.
This ends credit song is called Heart of Stone, I believe, or Made of Stone, I think.
Mm. Yeah, and I'll say I've been complaining for a long time about blockbusters and this kind of stuff just being over bloated, and I wish that they would go back to the 90-minute kind of runtime.
Got your wish.
But under an hour and 20 minutes, in my opinion, is not feature length. I don't understand. I just don't get this. And the movie suffers, I think, a lot just from them having a lot of ideas that they don't bother to spend any time fleshing out. And I don't understand that. From this franchise, which even the last movie was only about maybe 10 minutes longer than this one. And although it was short, it felt like they developed stuff enough that it all felt like it served the runtime. Maybe in the last 20 minutes or so, things are maybe moving a bit fast, but otherwise, it still felt like it had a story to tell. This one, it was, I don't know, it was also underdeveloped that it almost just seemed like lip service to keep action string together.
So I think the character's name, the daughter's character, was named Eve. So is that the only? Is that a reference to Parasite Eve? Anybody? No. Oh, okay, never mind.
Not Adam and Eve.
Well, that too. But who's Adam?
uh,
But I get the point. Is that she's now a offspring of a future air quotes vampire, not like second generation, or I mean not second, but not pure blood vampire, turned vampire, I guess, and a descendant of Michael, no, Alexander Corvinus, and of a hybrid. So, basically, her family's a mess.
Yeah, and I'm curious if they're really going to go the Resident Evil direction where we'll open up the next film and we'll see the daughter, we'll see Theo James and Michael Ealy. They'll all be together, and then within like 6 minutes, they'll all be dead, and our Alice will be wandering off into a brand new adventure. I'm curious if that's going to happen.
What is this, the start of the second Caravan of Courage movie?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I hope that they don't do that. But at the same time, I didn't develop enough of a connection to those three characters to really care that much. So,
Yeah, no, surprisingly, no. I didn't usually when they introduce something like this. Sometimes I'd be won over somehow, maybe immediately. I don't know, but not this time. I don't know why. Like nothing on
yeah.
Conceal or the actor, but just or the kid, the actor who played the daughter. But I don't know. I wasn't really getting much, or at least they didn't. I guess they did spend moments with it, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's it's funny when we finally get to in the sister series when I guess you know Jovovich's actual daughter shows up.
I even did look up because this girl, when she popped up on screen, I was like, was she in a Resident Evil movie playing the White Queen or whatever that Queen robot AI thing is?
Red Queen.
Red Queen. I was like, did she pop up in there? I looked it up, but no, she was never in that.
Yes, thank goodness.
But I was like, they always just get generic British girls to show up in that. Generic British kids. But I guess since we got the credits playing now, I didn't stick around to see if there's a post credit scene. Maybe you did.
There's not. There's not. I was only there to see where it was filmed and what the end credits song was because I was just like, okay, where have I heard this one before?
Yeah, but I guess we might as well do our final thoughts. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to take the bat?
I guess I'll go up to bat for now. Final thoughts. This is middle of the road for me. I can't say it's. I guess I didn't really. I guess best thing is that it's short, so doesn't stay for too long.
Yeah.
Worst thing, but again, not like a full on negative. Like I hate this and I'm being hyperbolic and emotional. It just it feels like a departure from the previous two. I know are like I guess like original two. Again, not to throw the prequel under the bus. I'm not trying to. I think it's its own thing. But yeah, with the first two, there was it's been very mid budget, but it's like this seems like there's a lot more going on here. And again, I like the style and the I guess the look of them. This is just like it's kind of got that 2010s not dreariness, but like not blandness, but not lifelessness, whatever I called it, desaturation or whatever. So I'm like, I kind of lost some of that. So I mean, nothing wrong with starting, in a new direction, but it's just like I kind of miss the days of the aughts, where this series, I guess, was was really good at, but or good in, excuse me, but that is not the case there. So yeah, I guess middle of the road, maybe leaning into the not feeling it category, but not again, not like kicking it in as it's down and insult to injury to it. What's here? Let's hear you up the bat. What are you thinking there, bud, about this film?
Yeah, I think if this was just like a generic kind of mid to lower budget uh, sci-fi horror mix, because they throw in a little bit of science stuff in here, and if this wasn't attached to the Underworld franchise, I'd be like, okay, this type of movie I can put on and somewhat enjoy. I don't always love action movies necessarily, but maybe there'd be enough here to just be passable, especially at such a short length. But when you compare it to what this series has been so far, it's like, oh wow, suddenly they just the investments just dropped off, and it just feels like they're just putting out an entry just to put it out, and that's definitely a disappointment. I think if you are someone who just enjoys just kind of horror fused or action fused with horror, you'll probably still be able to get something out of this and maybe enjoy it. Definitely much more than you probably get with the Underworld movies. Oh, those are fun because they're fun bad. This one's just more like kind of competent but bland, and that's just not enough to hold a franchise. So hopefully the next time around they right the ship and realize that, give it at least 90 minutes and put some investment in to making the characters seem interesting. And even Celine, I think we struggled to warm up with her a little bit in the first movie. I think we were interested, but we couldn't fully get a grip on her. But that second movie, she came into her own, and this one, it's just seemed like she was kind of stumbling through a plot that it didn't really have enough for her there. So yeah, too bad all around, but not like a disaster.
It's funny how you say the next one when it's really the last one.
Yeah, the last one. At least for now, who knows? These franchises get resurrected just all over the place unexpectedly at times. So maybe we'll finish it up, and the next thing you know, in 2025 they announce, oh, next year we got another Underworld coming your way. Oh, look at that, deluxe digital cinema, digital cinema packaging by Deluxe Digital. Mm.
Mouthful there. Yeah, it'd be. I would laugh so hard if all of a sudden, like, a trailer came out and it was in like similar to the there you go, Made of Stone, in a remix. Oh, it's Evanescence. Oh, for pit's sakes, I'm an idiot.
Hey, they maybe were having a little bit of a come around.
Oh yeah, of course. By the way, filmed on location in
There we go.
downtown.
Yeah,
Anyway, but oh, jeez, I should have realized that.
yeah, Deluxe Digital. Yeah,
I don't see any like filmed on recorder or whatever. Not
no.
record, filmed on a recorder. No, filmed with actual film print. Yeah, it'll be funny if there was a trailer in the style of like the Resident Evil remakes, and it's for like the next Paul W.S. Anderson's Resident Evil and Alice Returns. It's like, okay, that's well, hey, if they like cross these franchises over with one another, that'd be amazing.
Oh, I did see that Kate Beckinsale. I probably mentioned this in one of the previous ones that she wanted to cross over with Blade,
Yep.
but oh, that does remind me though. There was one thing I forgot to mention that another tie into Resident Evil is I feel like with this title, Awakening, we've finally entered the era that they've been in with Resident Evil ever since the second one, where they just slap on kind of a generic secondary title.
Oh yeah.
It's like, does it really need to be called Awakening? Like, what does that really give us? Like, that just feels like something to slap on there. They could just called it Underworld 4, and it would have given us as much context.
I mean, I prefer. Well, yeah, it depends on the title and or I guess the series when it comes to titles of what do you prefer four like or sorry do you prefer like numbers or do you prefer subtitles not subtitles sorry but a title.
Yeah, I think it depends because when we were talking about the movies earlier, like we were getting our tongues wrapped up. Remember, trying to remember the titles for. We were confusing, I think, Underworld Evolution with Resident Evil
Yep,
Apocalypse, and it feels like it could fit either way.
there you
You
go.
just slap them on. So,
By the way, just quick, this is very random. This is only like on the maybe it's in other places, but at least on the Microsoft Store, it'll recommend you other titles that maybe either came out around the same time or fit the description. I'm I'll let you decide with these some of these, but like they came around at the same time. It's like, oh man, this is okay, this is funny, or at least this is a flashback, I guess, to this point 12 years ago. Good grief. We have the interview.
no.
Wow. Okay. Like you may also like The Gamer by Gerard Butler.
Ooh,
I don't know if you
shitty film.
because when you said like generic, like not generic, but when you said like science fiction horror, I don't think it's a science fiction horror. I never watched it, but I can only assume it's one of those bargain. You find it at a bargain bin if it still exists.
Oh, it's a horror in its own way. Yeah, that movie sucks.
Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, Uncut. Here's one for you. A Haunted House 2.
Oh, that is very generic.
Yes, it is. Hey man, it's got one of the Wayans brothers, I believe.
Oh no. Yeah, I'll mention this. When my Blu-ray ended, special features popped up. and the first thing it went to was trailers. They got Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, The Woman in Black,
Oh, that's right.
Starship Troopers Invasion. I think that's
Oh,
a fourth one, maybe. And then Resident Evil Damnation and The Raid Redemption.
oh, nice. Yes, at least that one. Yes,
Yeah.
let's go.
So a better sampling maybe of movies that were coming at that time, at least because of the raid.
At least it ends with, yeah. At least it ends with the raid. Actually, was that also Scream Gems? No, that was XYZ or whatever it was. Oh, and the last one was Hot Tub Time Machine, by the way, which I forgot existed.
Yeah, my last one was 21 Jump Street.
Oh, that literally, yeah, that exactly. Wow, wow. Okay,
Time flies.
you can say that again.
But yeah, and time flew as we went through this very fast movie and commentary. And thank you once again, Isaac, for joining me for some more Resident Evil, another series that you spearheaded as producer. And I appreciate your efforts. I've still been enjoying this run. I've been having fun exploring the Underworld series with you.
I'm sorry. Did you say Resident Evil series? I know I heard Resident Evil in there, but did you say Resident Evil or did you mean Underworld?
If I said Resident Evil, I meant Underworld. Oh
Yeah,
no, not again.
I assume you meant like I heard Resident. I thought you were comparing it to the Underworld series, or sorry, you were comparing the Underworld series to Resident Evil. But I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I think I've mixed up the titles numerous times during this discussion, and yeah, might as well do it one more time before we get to the end.
You're okay. You're okay. I was just like, eh. No, you're welcome, man. I'm appreciative, and I will say to the listeners, it's gonna end quickly. We're gonna try to get the next one out soon as well, alongside, so we don't have to keep playing the guessing game. Because if
Yeah,
you listen to the endless war discussion, that was, or scene by scene, excuse me, bending the elements style. Yeah, we were playing catch up. We're just like, what happened here? What happened here? So yeah, we'll try to get across this one. Again, we don't want to finish it, but yeah, just get around to finishing that. It's sad that it has to be the last one, but yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. So here's hoping that the next one, maybe they'll come out with a new one, but I hope it has that look and feel of the first two. And till
yeah,
next time, thanks for listening, all you listeners, for sticking in there with this. Hopefully, it was a quick one for you guys. Now you gotta go find yourself a pair of glasses and see that all the Lycan are in charge, and go into a bank and say, "I've come to chew butt and eat kick bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum, or I'm all out of butt." Till next time, peace.